So today we'll continue from where we stopped in the last class. Last class we talked about entity relationship, right? Where we looked at ER diagram, we talked about attributes, then we talked about how to draw them. Please, what is the symbol for attributes?
Attribute is over.
Over, yeah. Then if it is a derived thank you. If it's a derived attribute, what's the symbol for that?
Dashed over.
Dashed over. So correct. Now we want to look at types of relationship: one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-many, and why you should avoid many-to-many and how to avoid it. How to avoid it. You know, I told you that entities have relationship with other entities. For instance, if you have a student which is an entity, the students can have first name, last name, and all of those attributes. And you have another entity, maybe course. Then you can join them together. That is, student studies course or student offers course, right? Students.
Sir, can you enlarge it, sir?
Okay.
Show me tomorrow.
Is it okay now, sir?
It's okay.
Okay, all right. So maybe student offers maybe courses, something like that. So the relationship between them will be maybe offers, right? Now, but we have different types of relationship among entities. The first is one-to-one. One-to-one. The next is one-to-many. The next is many-to-many. So let's pick the first one. 1-to-1. Now, 1-to-1 is when one entity is linked to one of the other entity. I'll give an example that will make you understand it very well. For instance, let's say you have an entity called country. Country will have its own attributes, right? Attributes and the likes. Let's say you have another entity called capital. Capital will also have its own attributes. But you know that a country can only have one capital. Do we get it?
Okay, sir.
A country can only have one capital. Also, one capital can only belong to a country. So the relationship between them is one-to-one. Let's look at another example. Maybe you have an employee and you have ID card. An employee can only have one ID card. I mean for a company now, for a particular company. An employee can only have one ID card for that particular company. And one ID card also can only belong to an employee. That is, two employees cannot share the same ID card. So the relationship in that case is called one-to-one. Any question on that?
No question, sir.
So this is how the one-to-one relationship, this is how it works. That is, one of these can only have one of this, and one of these can only have one of this. So let's assume in my table, I have attributes for the employee, the name of the employee, maybe the first name, the last name, the email, and the likes. Also, for ID card, let's say attributes about the ID card. What are the attributes that ID cards can have? Now, when you have one-to-one relationship, it is not bad, or a lot of times, it is not bad when you join them together into a single table. Instead of separating them, you can still join them together, condense them together in a single table. there's nothing bad in it. If the attributes are not much. But if the attributes of the ID card itself, if they are much also, maybe it's getting to 4 or 5, you may choose to separate them so that this will not be too long, right? The employees will not be too long. But if they are not much, you can condense them together into a single entity. So you now make a single table for that. Any question?
No question, sir.
Now, because at the end of the day, each entity will be a separate table in your database. Each entity will be, so the attributes will be, there will be the columns of that table. So instead of creating two separate tables, like I said, when you have one-to-one, you may or you may not condense them into one table. There's nothing bad in it. Let's go to the second one, one-to-many. This is how you want your relationship to be, one-to-many. One-to-many. Now, in one-to-many relationship, let's look at an example. Let's look at student and department. Student and department. A student can only belong to one department, but one department can have many students. Do we get it? The whole idea of one-to-many is that one of these can only have one of these, but one of these can have many of these. Any question?
No question, sir.
So one-to-many is that one of the first one can only have one of the second one, or so one of the first one can only have one of the second one, and one of the second one can have many of the first one. Of course, it can also be inversed. That is, it may be that this comes first. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. So a student can belong to many departments, but a student can belong to one department, but one department can have many students. So in that case now, we call that one-to-many relationship. Some people do break it into one-to-many and many-to-one. Well, I don't think that may be necessary. I don't think that would be necessary. The whole idea is just that one of the first one can have one of the second one, but many of the first one can belong to one of the second one. One of A. Please, do we get what I'm trying to explain? One of A
Yes, sir.
can only have one of B, but many of B can have so one of A can only have one of B, but many of B can have many of many of B can have one of B, like this. One of B can have many of A. So this is the idea of one-to-many. One of A can only have one of B, but one of B can have many of A. One-to-many relationship. One-to-many relationship. So let's look at another example. You know, if you have, let's say you are dealing with banks. If you have just a single bank, let's say you are working for a bank, right? Let's say GT Bank. In that, everything you are going to be doing will be for that particular bank. In that case now, customer and accounts. A customer can have many accounts, right? But one account can only belong to one customer. Hope you understand this.
Yes, sir.
So this is one-to-many relationship. One-to-many relationship. Let's look at the third one, many-to-many. And this is what you want to avoid at all costs, many-to-many relationship. It's something that you should not have, and when you have it, you must solve it by creating a bridge. A bridge. That's because remember, keeping in mind that these entities they're going to be separate tables in your database. They will be separate tables in your database. So this will be a table. This will be another table. Please, who can tell me what an entity is? I think I mentioned it in the last class. Who can tell me what an entity is?
They are like objects.
Objects,
An
yeah.
object. An object.
Thank you. An object. Thank you. Object. So when you have an object and you start describing it, that this object has this object has that, then you start thinking, oh, let me make it an entity. Right? When you start having its own attributes, its own characteristics, okay, it has this, it has this, it has this, it has this. Then, for instance, account number, maybe the day you open the account, maybe what else can account have? The owner of the account. What else can account have? Maybe things like that, right? When you start account balance, so when you start describing it, it starts having its own this and that, and then you make it an entity. Customer can also have its own information, right? So you make this an entity, you make that another entity. Let's proceed to one to many, many to many, which is the last one for tonight. Many to many is when one of these can have many of this. Also, one of these can also have many of this. That is, one of A can have many of B, and one of B also can also have many of A. In that case, we call it many to many relationship. Many to many relationship. Let's look at an example. Let's say you have doctor and you have patients. A doctor can treat many patients. Also, a patient can be treated by many doctors. So in that case, we call it many to many relationship. Do we get it? Sure.
Yes, sir.
Let's look at another example.
Yes, yes.
You can even use students and the lecturers now.
Student.
Students and lecturers in departments.
Yes. So a student, let's say we have a lecturer's table. A student can be taught by many lecturers. Then one lecturer also can teach many students. So that is many to many relationship. Another one will be student and courses. A student can offer many courses. And one course also can be offered by many students. That is many to many relationship. So when you have many to many relationship, you must avoid it. How do you solve it? In that case, you create something called a bridge. A bridge. A bridge is a table because you want to avoid many to many relationship in your database. So a bridge is a table that breaks these two, so that the two of them will not have direct relationship again. Let's look at this. If you have students and courses table, two separate tables, how do you solve it? Oftentimes, you just get a bridge. The bridge can bear the name of the two. You say students, courses. This will now be the name of your new table. It will have information about, it will contain the student ID, it will contain the course ID also. Student ID, the course ID. Of course, this will be foreign key, this will also be foreign key. Then this table itself, just as you know, every table should have its own primary key, right? You can call this students, courses ID. After you've thought and tried to break it, there is no way this is how you solve it. You just create a new table that will serve as an intermediary between the two, so that the two will not have direct relationship. It can now have other information about it. For instance, what did the students have in that course? So you can call it grade. So that will hold, you have a student ID, let's say student 1 is offering course 1, let's say course BCH 201. So what did the student 1 have in course in BCH 201? Then that is what you keep in the grade. Hope you understand it. So you now create a separate entity out of it. So this separate entity, we call it a bridge table. It's bridging this so that there will be no many-to-many relationship. Many-to-many relationship is difficult to manage. When you have it in your database, it gives you problem. So that's why you want to avoid it. Even if it's required that you create a new table to handle, it's called this bridge table. It's better than managing many-to-many relationship. Let's look at that of the doctor and patient. Now for the doctor table, you have the name of the doctor, you have maybe the date of employment of that doctor, other information about the doctor ID, and all of that, maybe the specialization of the doctor. For the patient also, you have the patient name, the patient's age, maybe the patient medical history, and all of those things for that patient. But then, because you notice that the relationship is many to many, what do? You create a new table. You can call it doctor patient. Doctor patient. Of course, if you have this on primary key, you can call it doctor patient ID. Then the doctor ID will serve as a foreign key there. The patient ID will be another foreign key also. They can have other information. When did this patient visit the doctor? You can call it visit date. That is, when did the patient with this ID visit the doctor with this ID? You can call it visit date. Visit date of that particular patient. So just to create a table that will bridge the two so that the two of them will not have direct relationship because of many to many. So instead of creating two tables now, you create three tables. Any question on this?
No question, sir.
So any interaction between these two will be recorded inside this place. Also for the courses and the students, any interaction between the course and the students will be inside the courses student table or student courses table, on like that. So we are done with this. Please, you can give me examples of many-to-many relationship that you think you might encounter. Then we look at how to solve it also. You can give me examples of many-to-many relationships.
You can even use religious. You can even use religious gathering, pastors and worshippers, congregations.
Okay.
In church.
And members. So a pastor can have many members. Well, a member can also have many pastors. Well, a member can have many pastors. So in that case, you now have pastor member. Pastor member table. Yeah, thank you. Then in that case, you have pastor member ID. Then pastor ID. The member ID.
Member ID.
Then the relationship between the pastor, whatever there's any relation between the pastor and the member, maybe when they met or anything, any relationship between both of them, you always put this. Yeah. Do you get it?
Okay, let's say maybe I don't know, maybe something like tithe offering or something like that.
No. No, this is just relationship peculiar to one pastor and one member. Do you get it?
I understand that.
Okay, let's say when did they meet? Like maybe talking days. Maybe pastor do fix time. Maybe the pastors they do fix time to talk to each member separately. That is, I'll fix a specific time with this. You fix another time with this. You fix another time with this. So you can call it maybe counseling time, right?
Okay.
So this is unique that between a particular pastor and a particular member. Then you can.
Okay.
So that is how this works. A particular one of these and one of these, the interaction that you have between them, that is what you keep inside this table. Do you get it? so that this will not have a direct relationship with this. Any question on that?
No questions, that's clear.
Alright. So let's stop here today. Next class we go back to coding. I think I've done enough justice to this part. So when you see me creating tables, or when you see me creating more tables, then you know the reason for that. Maybe you notice, oh, why are you creating this table? Now you know this because maybe I noticed that it is many to many relationship between them, right? So that's why we need to, or because, oh, I need to normalize it so as to ensure that there's no transitive dependency. Then you know, oh, that's why we need to create a new table. Hope you get it now. So as time goes on, we just see that, oh, we need to create a new table because of this reason. We need to create a new table because of this reason. Oh, we can match these two tables together because maybe we notice that it is one-to-one relationship and there's nothing bad in merging them together, right? So.
Okay. Alright, sir.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. God bless you, sir.
And you too, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Good night, man.